Welcome to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Mendte. We come to you this week from Trenton at the New Jersey Department of Education for our exclusive interview with Cary Booker, the brother of Cory Booker, who is now the Assistant Commissioner in charge of early childhood education. A hiring that happened amidst some controversy. Cary Booker addresses it head on. Our interview in a moment. Also on today's show, PreK expands to more school districts, but some parents are disappointed. We'll talk to a superintendent about parents who didn't win the lottery. And fighting dangerous algae in New Jersey lakes. And now our interview with Cary Booker, the Assistant Commissioner for Early Childhood Education at the New Jersey Department of Education. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing this.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And I appreciate you doing this for several reasons, but right off the top, every story that I've read about you says that you are low profile, you keep a low profile. Is that true, and if so, why?
Well, it's not really intentional. It's more, I like to focus on the work. I get up every day, I try to work hard for the children and families of New Jersey, and that's sort of been my habit. So I really don't seek the publicity.
Have they sought you? I mean, I'm trying to figure out why that makes it into articles. Are people seeking you and you're turning them down, or?
Not really. I think maybe I have a reputation for just focusing on the work, and I'm happy to talk to people about what we do and help them understand the work that we're doing, but I'm not looking for it.
Yeah. Well, the other reason I'm so happy that you're talking to us is because you got this job in a swirl of controversy. And I say swirl because there were so many headlines that weren't welcoming. We'll put it that way. I'll read to you one as an example, and you can respond to the whole thing. This is from NJ.com. Cory Booker's brother, don't use your name, Cory Booker's brother opened a school so bad it got shut down. New Jersey just gave him a $150,000 education job. This is about a charter school that you co-founded in Tennessee that the New Jersey Board of Education, according to the article, shut down because you didn't meet minimum standards.
Yeah.
Your response to that?
Well, I was a little surprised about the swirl since I had been in the governor's office or working with the governor for close to 2 years. I think I've worked with kids or young people for almost 30 years. And, you know, yes, running a charter school is a difficult job. And I certainly took my lumps and you know, we sort of worked hard at it. We got up every day, we worked hard at it. We tried to do the best we could for those kids. But coming back to New Jersey, I had the opportunity to really dive deep in policy and use the experiences that I've had to help make a difference here in New Jersey. And that's really what I set out to do with the governor during his campaign and when he asked me to come on in his administration and really work to sort of help take the vision that he had laid out and really put it into practice.
The former principal of Omni Prep Academy, the charter school you co-founded, is heavily quoted in this article at least. Mm-hmm. At one point she said you only got the job because of your brother. Is that true?
No, that's not true. I mean, I don't know what Donnie's been doing for the last 10 years, but certainly I've been working with kids for the last 10 years. I've been back in New Jersey since 2016, continuing to do work around education and education issues. So I have no real response to what he has to say except my work.
When Governor Murphy was asked about this at a recent event, about your hiring, he said, we took him on with the campaign as an education advisor, and he impressed us so much, we brought him on. That was his answer. What did you say to him? What did you do during the campaign that impressed him so much?
I just really took the work that they were doing in the campaign and really tried to lay out what that vision could look like on the ground. I mean, the governor has really laid out a rather remarkable vision for public education in New Jersey, which begins with PreK and the expansion of PreK, continues with a commitment to fully fund the state's responsibility for the funding formula, and then goes all the way through to free community college. That's a huge task that he's laid out for us to accomplish, and also focusing on the transition points. So we have from pre-K to kindergarten, we have from elementary school to middle school, we have high school transitions, and then transitions into post-secondary experiences. there's a lot of really good work that's coming out of the governor's vision. And we're very excited and I was very excited to sort of embrace that and go to work. I think the lessons that I learned in my career, which started in higher education here in New Jersey and has gone to K through 12 education, those lessons I think really have lent themselves to the governor's vision and finding ways to support that vision.
Yeah, he ran on, and he talks about a lot, and he's put it in the budget, he ran on having pre-K for everybody, pre-K across the state. He hasn't been able to get there yet. There are budgetary concerns, but what is your role in that now as the assistant commissioner? Are you in the forefront of that? Are you leading it?
Yes, my task is really to help continue to drive our expansion, make sure that we do it with quality, which New Jersey has become the gold standard for high quality pre-K in the country, and make sure that we preserve that quality and continue to drive that quality, and then find ways to lay the groundwork to have more pre-K in more communities in New Jersey.
I have spoke to several superintendents that are receiving funding now for pre-K, and they're thrilled. Of course they're thrilled.
Sure.
There's also, and they're reluctant to say it, there's some disappointment because they're saying the money is just going to people that had to pay in the past, first off, and mostly underprivileged children that had to pay in the past. And they have not been able to expand it that much. For instance, the superintendent of the township of Ocean said it was 10 people because it's costly. The money they got just paid for that. So are you disappointed at the fact that everybody that's applying for pre-K, they had a lottery in that township, is not able to get it, and most people are not able to get it at this point?
Well, I think startup is difficult, and I think what's been unique about this expansion over the last 3 years is that we've been able to continue the expansion within the districts that have gotten pre-K expansion aid. So, next year they will get additional money to continue their expansion, and hopefully that they're going to grow in a way where they can do it with quality and continue to drive that quality as they get out to fully addressing the needs of their population.
Politics infects everything. Has politics infected this? Does it get to the point where you're not, because I believe the governor when he says he wants it for everybody. I believe that he wanted that and he's going to do everything he can to get that. I believe
Sure.
that about him. But he has not been able to. And I know there's been some political friction in Trenton, even with other Democrats. Is that getting in the way at all?
No, not at all. I think, so for example, this year, eligible school districts submit an application. That application is read by an internal reader and an external reader, and they're ranked. And this year what we did is we ranked those applications and we funded starting with the highest ranking and until we ran out of money. This was the first year that we had more demand than money that was in the budget, which is exciting because that gives us an opportunity to really push school districts to write a quality application, to think through what their plan is, not only for the first year for startup, but for ongoing and subsequent years so that they can fully support their pre-K population.
Just one last question on this. Do you fully expect another expansion in some school districts that didn't get it this year to get it next year?
Well, that's clearly a decision on the other side of the highway, but I'm optimistic that this is a commitment that both the governor has and the legislature has clearly championed as well. So I'm very optimistic that we'll find a way to get some of this in the budget again.
In an odd way, and I lied about the last question. In an odd way, isn't the referendum on recreational marijuana tied to this? Because it would get more money, and more money can be used for this.
Well, I would say it differently. I think the governor has been clear about stable revenues for the state as a whole, given the long list of priorities that we have. And so I think this argument that he's had about making sure that we have stable revenues to continue the commitments that New Jersey has made to its citizens is very, very important. So I think the marijuana is a piece of that, but I think it's really that larger question of what are the stable revenues that we're going to have in New Jersey that allow us to continue our commitments to our citizens.
It would be a strange marriage, I understand that, but it might get people to vote for the referendum as well. When we come back, I want to continue the conversation about the importance of childhood education and also talk about the new task force about bias and how you enter into that. When we continue our conversation with Cary Booker, the Department of Education's Assistant Commissioner for Early Childhood Education, when we come right back.